compass points you anywhere.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins and bless up to the world.
And then Jay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. It is the Morning Shake with me, your host, Xavier Hendricks, and of course, my co-host, Mr. Jay Paris. What's happening, my brother?
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins and bless up to the world. Another day in Johannesburg, South Africa. Another day of load shedding. Another day of the same leadership and government. Another day
useless
of
government.
But yeah, but I'm sure majority of South Africa should be rejoicing during these times. I mean, if you vote for a specific leadership,
then you should be okay with what.
So you're happy, like, yo, it's cool.
It's cool. We voted these people in, so we're alright with it.
So we got a lot of South Africans that are happy. Not me.
Not me either. I don't like the ANC. They've been a mess since the shit. Mandela was the last time ANC was anything worth even thinking about. But after that, it's just been corruption, money laundering, stealing. It just turned into a disaster after that. But enough about that rant, bro. We're supposed to get this energy up. We're supposed to get people in a good space, in a good mood. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having an interesting conversation today. A conversation that somehow the mainstream media has found a way to make it divisive over time, which a couple of years ago would have been common sense and everyone would have thought, yeah, that's how it should be. But over time, it's been broken down. Over time, the media has turned it into something that tries to split marriages. And for me, coming from a spiritual perspective, I think it's Satan's aim to mess up with marriages, to mess up the family home, to mess up kids growing up in a good environment. And so it's all part of the plan. Satan's just out here doing his job, and that's coming from a spiritual perspective. And of course, in the mainstream perspective, it's obviously a world that obviously tries to shy away from biblical stuff, tries to shy away from Jesus, God, anything to do with the Bible. So they go hard when it comes to things that goes against scripture, and they find creative ways to weave it into the movies, and what they don't realize is, like my monologue from last week, is that it's causing damage. And when the damage is there, they're like, I don't know. When the divorce rate is through the roof, we don't know. When children are growing up without their parents,
there's a ripple effect.
There's a massive ripple effect. We don't know. So today we decided to hop onto this conversation because when I got my wife in on this conversation today, which she's been part of the show now for the past 3 shows. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, before I get into the topic of conversation, I was gonna welcome Anka in on the conversation, but I first kind of wanted to lead it up so that it's like boom, here we are. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I would like to welcome, which is fast not anymore a guest because she's actually now part of the show for the past couple of weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my wife, Anka Hendricks.
Yay! Hi guys, I'm super excited about today's topic because I think I'm also fairly passionate about it because it is something that I think mainstream media has sort of like labeled taboo. It's not something that people really want to speak of, and because marriage is a good thing, guys. I'm an advocate. Get married, guys, but get married to the right person.
I want to preface the conversation by saying this. I want to give you a disclaimer in the beginning. This is only if you want a healthy marriage. Only if you want to, first of all, get married. If you're out here on your hot girl summer vibe, sleeping around, doing your thing all over the place, that's on you, though. If things are things, it's on you, though. When we gotta come through for counseling because you have children from different people and it's all over the place and you're not sure how to get things together, that's on you, though. So if you've already made those mistakes, you didn't know, you were uneducated, you were young, you were stupid, you were whatever the case may be.
Also even knowingly, but you want to get back on.
Yeah, those things happen, and it happens. Especially from a spiritual perspective, there's always redemption. There's always a way to get yourself back into the game and recover your losses. It's always there. But if you are dating, if you are single, and you are still looking to do this thing the right way from the beginning, I suggest you draw a little bit closer, put the volume up a little bit higher, and this is a conversation that you definitely want to hear. So in our first year of marriage, it's different. It's difficult because the thing is, I come from a certain background. Anka comes from a certain background. We see the world differently. Not only that, she comes from a completely different country, right? Given that the countries' cultures are very, very similar.
The cultures were very similar, but remember when you come from your home into someone else's home, those cultures are completely different. So we had to get to know one another's cultures in order to create our own.
Before I carry on with the story, Jay, just say what's up to everyone. Listen, thank you for everyone that's jumping online. I'm so sorry about the delay. As you know, we're running off generator. The whole country is in blackouts. It's really annoying, but we kind of managed to get ourselves there. So if you are in the comment section, please do jump in. If you disagree, please disagree. It's fine. We can have that conversation. It's okay. If you agree, then agree, and then we'll have the conversation. We don't shy away from topics anymore. We don't shy away from opposing mainstream thoughts and ideas because they're causing damage in our families and in our lives. So we need to confront these conversations, right? So Jay, hop in on the comment section there. I see there's already some people that have already hopped in. Let's show some love.
Yeah. It's just based on obviously how we started the show, bro. Morning guys, couldn't have said it any better. Useless government, says Veronique, and then Keegan says Mandela only sorted his own family. But yeah, what's up guys? Thank you so much for joining us. Keep the comments rolling, and I know we're gonna have a great show. I'm always blessed and privileged to sit under such great leadership, and I'm ready. Let's go.
So we Anka and I get married in 2014, right? We got married. And so we there. Pastor Neil is there. You guys were all there. It was a nice vibe. It's energy. We in Cape Town.
Excited.
Man, we there in the vineyards. Everyone traveled. Our family came.
Neil took us far.
Yeah,
but it was dope. You have to admit, though.
Nah, it was a vibe.
You have to admit, it was an easy, nice, chilled vibe. So we out there in Cape Town. We get married. We do the whole 9 yards. So we got married on, I don't remember, it was the weekend of Easter, right, in April. So it was on that weekend, the whole family is there, blah, blah. So then we get, it was the 19th of April, because why are you looking at me?
I'm just checking because you're like, I don't know, like it was a Saturday.
I can't remember which day it was. That was my whole thing. So it was a Saturday. I know it's the 19th of April, and I know it was the Easter weekend, and I know everyone came because it was a long weekend. So we there, we get married the Saturday. The Sunday, I tell Anka, yo, we gotta leave, right? And so we come back home. When we get home, the next morning, the Monday morning, we had a flight out to Thailand. So we get out to Thailand, and boom, the rubber hits the road. Arguments. Listen, guys, honeymoon, it's not
time.
Always, yeah, bro, it happened quick.
Yeah, but I think it's important to mention the fact that we met each other very quickly. We didn't really get to spend time together, and then boom.
Plus, it was a distant relationship.
It was a long distance relationship, yeah.
But I think fairly the dynamics stay the same when you're with someone, and now you're placed alone with someone in a vicinity. Because remember, I've never left the home. I was just at home with my parents, and that was the first time leaving my parents' home completely, and then moving into my new house, and then off onto honeymoon. So yeah.
And so now we're on honeymoon. We're trying to understand each other. We're trying to get, that dope understanding and that vibe. And there the arguments start. Hey, bro, we fighting, we arguing, we complain. Yes, bro, it's just annoying. And so obviously we're on honeymoon.
All that bad.
Yeah, we're on honeymoon. So we're like, look, we flew all this way here. We spent all this. Yeah, we spent all this money. We here now. What's the point now? We're fighting the whole time. I don't want to fight. You don't want to fight. We're trying to enjoy the thing here. You know what? Let's just kind of find some sort of middle ground here so that we must now make this thing work. So eventually we find some sort of middle ground. We're like, okay, cool. Let's just make the best of this. Let's have some fun. Let's enjoy our time.
I think the larger part of what happened there was the expectation. Xavier's expectation, what he'd always thought what his married life would be like. I think, movies.
So expectation is up there.
High,
and then the reality is like down here. It's like,
the same with me. I had expectation because this is what the movies portray, and this is how. And when you speak to people, everyone likes to make it seem whimsical and everything's sunshine and roses. But when you guys are alone, it's like, it's not. Make sure it's not.
Exactly. So now you meet with real life. Now I see you want to ask something.
Yeah.
Nah. Like, then that's crazy though. But obviously, first and foremost, you obviously got married virgins, eh?
Yes.
You all got married
Yeah.
virgins, which is big ups. Congrats for that. So I'm just trying to figure out. Obviously, it's honeymoon. When you're speaking about expectation and so forth on, in that regard, you both don't know anything.
Facts. So that's kind
So
of
why
part.
you're tripping?
But that's kind of part of the thing now, because now, so and look, we're gonna get into the conversation, especially if you got the kids, you might want to hide your kids.
Yeah, this is not pretty underage. I just wanted to say that sometimes I think especially Xavier, he likes to do a lot of research. So by the time we got married, he'd watched so much like marriage content, he'd read up like medical stuff. So I think he'd created something in his mind that he read.
That in real life was like, this thing
It's
is
not
not
like
the
that.
same.
It's not like the theory.
So here's the thing though. So now it's the you need to consummate the marriage, right? And so you know what it means to consummate. It's like, okay, right, we're together now. We need to make this thing happen. And so we both knew at this. We both don't know what's going on. We both don't know what to do. And then of course, it's the female anatomy is in such a way, bro. The woman body, it's fragile and all that stuff. And so now you as the gent, you like, hey, we married, come, we must do something now. And now you gotta kind of like now ease into it, and you kind of have to be cognizant, and you have to be cautious, and you have to like think, and it's like, yo. I just want to, but I just want to get in there, bro, and catch that vibe. I ain't trying to be like, okay, and da. And then with the lady, it's like, no, you know what, let's take it easy, man. First, bring me into the game and all that kind of thing.
But I think that has a lot to do with personality, because if I have to look at the two of you, bearing in mind Jay is not married, but knowing Jay as a friend, he's more conscious about, being nice, being soft, and the emotional side is more. Xavier's more borderline, like this is it. This is what I want. This is the plan. Next is execute. And let's get it done.
We're done. Next, let's go. What else needs to be? What else needs to happen? So we're there now, and then so we come back, right? Hey, Brian, it's tough, and we wrestling, and it's this and it's that, and we trying to get. Then my father comes in the one day, so I go to my father, which by the way,
you spoke to your father?
Yeah. So which by the way, topped up. What you don't want to do is, for those of you who want to get married, what you don't want to do is you don't want to get your parents
never
so involved in your marriage that when you having your misunderstandings or you're having your thing, now your parents and your family is all up in your business, bro.
Plus, your folks come from.
So that's the thing. They're gonna
your folks.
Exactly.
It's
so
just,
my folks might have a inclination towards being biased to my side, like, yo, it's my kid and da. And her folks might be biased towards her side, like,
you
yo,
do know that my mother is not biased towards my side.
But
her
mother was the one to tell her, like, no, don't do that and da.
Like, she's still Xavier, like.
Yeah, she was like more on my side, her mother though. Her father was like very much on her side. So now we're going through this, and so I'm speaking to Pops, and I'm like, yo, this thing is tough, man. I'm trying to make this thing make sense and da. Then he comes to me, and ladies and gentlemen, in 2014, he buys, I think did we both get copies
We
of
both
this?
got copies. We actually got it before we got married.
He-
I got my copy before we got married.
So we then get this book, which is the title for today's conversation, and we're going to jump into it. We get this book called Love and Respect, right? And it's a book that if you want your marriage to work, and you are having some misunderstandings, and you're not kind of sitting around the same campfire, before you even consider the D word, I think you should perhaps get yourself a copy of this book. You can even go onto YouTube. I'm plugging you, Dr. Emerson. You gotta send me some funds there, my G. you might want to even go on to like YouTube. Dr. Emerson is on there. He like kind of runs through the premise of the book. I sent you some clips there that he's speaking about what this book is about. And so fast forward, my father comes in and says like, yo, I think you guys should get into this book. And the book kind of, it's like, yo, thank you, but then boom, we kind of didn't really get into it. But the premise of the book, we understand. And the premise of the book is that women innately want to feel loved, and men don't worry so much necessarily about the love aspect. They're more so concerned about the respect aspect, right? And women also, look, it goes both ways. Obviously, love and respect, you want to have love for everyone deserves love, right? And so a man also needs love, but a woman also needs respect. But the premise of the book is, and if you go and watch the video actually on YouTube, I think he under correction, he spoke something about 92% of the empirical research shows that when you ask a man about love, and like Anka said, men's brains are more wired to kind of be
Borderline.
statistical, and okay, I see this thing the way it is, and so I'm expecting a certain result, and that's how kind of our minds are. And women's minds are more wired to be leaning more over to the emotions kind of side, leaning more over to the feelings, leaning more over to, hey, but you can't do that, that's not right. And a guy's like, yeah, but he did this thing wrong, and so boom, draw some solid lines. And so what that said, when the 92% of the men asked, what do you think causes most of the arguments in your marriage? And the men were like, yo, I feel disrespected, I feel like I'm bringing home the bacon, but it feels like my wife is not seeing me. She, it kind of feels like I'm not being recognized, and da-da-da-da-da. Then, when the same thing happens, and when they spoke there, I think the percentage is 87% of the women, when they asked, yo, what is the issue actually in your marriage? And they were like, my husband doesn't even really pay attention to me. He doesn't tell me I look nice. He doesn't come and just give me a hug. He doesn't just want to give me a kiss. He doesn't just want to cuddle. And so with men, it's like, yo, if we're going to do this, we just want to go straight to get done with the business. Ain't trying to still cuddle and da-da-da. And women are like, yo, let's first cuddle, let's first hang out, let's first chill, let's first connect on that emotional level before you just want to get straight to the business. And so the premise of let's just first engage, let's enjoy.
A man can walk through the door and he's ready to go. Whereas a woman, it starts in the morning. You have to caress in the morning, help out in the morning, do things in the morning, and not big things. I picked up the stuff there, or like I cleaned up the whole lounge areas. Like, do small things, make up the bed here, take your cup, and small things, ching ching, you build it up, and that follows out throughout the day. And by the end of the day, you're like, yeah, ain't like he likes me.
And what if you get a headache at that specific moment?
No, that's a myth, guys.
And so that's the thing. So the premise of the book is that women are more inclined to want to feel loved in a marriage and a relationship, and men are more inclined. And ladies in the chat, please let me know. Please let me know if this book is far off, if it's incorrect. And I want to premise this by saying in the beginning that the exception doesn't kind of remove the rule, right? So if there's an exception, it doesn't undo the majority of the rule. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, debunk.
It doesn't debunk the rule. It doesn't say that the rule doesn't exist. So if there is 5% of women that wants to be, I want to wear the pants, I can do better by myself, I want to bring home more money than my husband, I want to
you can't negate that, yes.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying, but that doesn't again debunk the overall rule that majority women are saying, nah bro, go work, go bring home the bacon, go do you.
But even strong women, they want a strong man. Even though they don't say, they still want to be led. Because I know of so many marriages that have had strong women in it that left because they felt the man was too weak.
You see, and that's the thing. So let's jump into the conversation. Mainstream media in 2022 has somehow found a way to villainize men, right? By calling men rapists, by calling men misogynistic, by calling men trying to suppress women, and as a result, what started happening over a period of time, they started really doing it kind of undercover. They started bringing it the same way the LGBT movement is now, where they kind of slide it into movies, like, that subtle kind of like, I'm just kind of touching it in the movie. I'm kind of sliding it into the kids' cartoons, like just very undercover, very subliminal in the beginning, right? And then that Disney thing was leaked, where the woman said,
what is the agenda?
Yeah, we're trying to secretly push our agenda, and then she said, but not so secretly anymore. So that was proof that there's an agenda trying to be kind of massaged into mainstream society.
Yeah, it's no longer massage, bro.
Nah, so exactly.
The other cartoon was playing, and the homie was speaking about like masturbation. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's why the certain things.
Cartoons now.
Cartoons, bro. So he's like outrightly saying, yo, I need to go in.
So here's the thing. 5, 6, 7 years ago, that would never be the case in movies, in cartoons, in anything, right? 4 years ago, it started becoming more evident and prevalent in these shows. You could start seeing more and more like, hey, wat gaan aan hier? So these things are becoming more and more like blatant now. 2022, fast forward 2022, there's no more hiding, there's no more undercover. It's now just said blatantly. It's just plain down said, yeah, we're pushing the LGBT agenda in cartoons, in movies, in everything. We're pushing the feminist agenda in cartoons, in movies, in everything. We're pushing. And as a result, a lot of men have started going into, that's why the depression in male is so high. The suicide is almost twice as high in men than in women. And it all came about by subtly telling the man he's useless, by subtly telling the man he doesn't have a place in society anymore, by subtly kind of breaking down the masculine imperative in society by saying that you a rapist, you a misogynist, you a capitalist, or what do you call that thing that Jordan Peterson likes to say? A patriarch, you part of the patriarchy, and all that kind of thing. And so a lot of men have started like backing down. But now, in 2022, with the advent of people who are now starting to come up in media, like, what's his name? Samuel, what's that guy's name? His name, I think is Samuel something, right?
That passed away.
Yeah, the guy that died.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but it is Samuel something.
Yeah, with Samuel, with Jordan Peterson.
Oh, but he's a bad example, though.
He's a bad example, but that's where I'm going. With Andrew Tate, with all these guys now starting to come up. Now they're pushing it to that's why we had the show last week. Now they're pushing it to the complete extreme. Like, okay, now we coming full blast now. Yeah. Because you want to push this agenda, we are now pushing this agenda. And so now that's why we asked the question last week, is it swinging too far either way? Where do we find the middle ground? And I want to ask the question, is it true that men want to be respected and women want to be loved?
Yes, of course. Women do want to be loved, and I think it's important. It's not just as easy as that women want to be loved and men want to be respected, because every person is different and has a different personality. So when you find yourself in a relationship, it's important to find out what is that person's language of respect. Men usually is blatant, like actual respect of not speaking disrespectfully to a person, like you shut up or whatever. That's an absolute no in a marriage, either way, going either way. But it's important to find out, what does this person read as respect, and what does this person read as love. Because what happens is a lot of the times we in this marriage, and like Xavier was saying just now, that mainstream media pushes one agenda, one side of the agenda, and then the other side of the agenda, like the scales are imbalanced. And what happens then is that it's so important, and I say this again, I've said this in other shows before, that it's anything in life has balance. Because now the narrative is, we must respect men. But at the same time, when I'm giving him respect, he needs to reply in a language that I understand, which is love. Do you get what I'm saying? So yes, it is that, but it's important to find out, what does he read as respect.
And then another thing I actually want to ask, bro, when you speak about like love and respect, does respect entail certain things?
Yes.
Does love
you know what you'll actually find? You'll find that the level of respect that a man requires is actually very primitive, bro. It's very like low level. It's very basic. It's literally like
reason why I'm asking,
thank you, like juicing the gent up, bro.
But reason why I'm asking that, bro, is because we're speaking about respect, and we're speaking about homies. The guys want to bring the bacon home, you want to bring the cheese home, and so forth on. There's a lot of cases where
it's the other way around.
In marriages where the homies, like Anka mentioned earlier, where homies aren't necessarily bringing that home. Does the respect stay there? Should it stay there, regardless?
So here's the next question I want to ask. I want to throw this question to Anka, right? And I want to say this. Here's the thing, right? And I see Nikki's on the comments, and we're definitely going to jump into the comments. Hierarchy in a marriage is a thing. It is a thing. My question, I want to throw it to you from all angles. You can go spiritual, you can go whatever. Is hierarchy in a marriage a thing for you?
Yes, it should be a thing because I think it's how God created it. The man is the head of the house. That's it, right? And I think how you guys find your communication level. Remember, that doesn't mean that the woman is nothing in the house or any less in the house. Remember, she's got a complete different role in the house. It's not the head of the house, but she has a role in the house, and communication then determines how secure you are in that position where you now don't fight and verse each other. Yeah, but why do you have the right to say, no, we can't do this? And why? That's why it must be a conversation between the two of you, and you should agree upon it. Yes, he has the last say, but there should be an agreement towards why we got here. Why are we saying no? Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a we said no. But why did we say no? Because we discussed the pros and the cons. Now we're acknowledging each other's positions in the household. You're acknowledging the fact that I'm the manager here and you can't bypass me. And I am acknowledging the fact that you're the CEO here and I can't bypass you either. You know, because you need to identify those positions in order for the organization to, in lack of a better term.
And I think just
well.
because, and I like how you kind of structured it, just because you're the CEO, it doesn't give you the permission or the right to trample on the values of your next in charge, right? You can't now come, hey, I'm the boss, so you must. And I think that's where the feminist movement took it to.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not in charge of me. I'm in charge of my own self. You can't come tell me what I can and cannot do and blah, blah, blah. So they took it to the extreme now. That just because you're the head of the house, now they're taking it to, you want to tell me, you want to make me a doormat, you want to make me the maid, you want to make me the this and this and this. That's not at all what it's saying. That's not at all what, and it's scriptural even. The Bible says, for the man is the head of his home. And so the question you asked earlier is a very intricate question, and I actually wish I could have Pastor Neil on the show for this one, because he's dealt with situations like this multiple times. Anka and I have counseled situations like this before as well. Listen to what I'm saying, ladies. When a woman begins to earn more than her husband, oftentimes it starts creating conflict in the home, right? And this is why. The way God, and there's biblical evidence for it and actual empirical evidence for it, right? Empirical evidence. The way God has set it up is that the man is innately feels that I need to provide for my house. So when, and I've had this conversation with Pastor Neil offline before, and I asked him what is going on, especially when it comes to the side of finance in the couples that you counsel. He says, you see how God made a man is to feel like he's the man, he's bringing home, because it's what gives him his sense of belonging. It's what gives him his sense of pride. It's what gives him his sense of, like, okay, I'm contributing towards my structure here. I'm playing my part here. I'm bringing something to the table here. It's what gives him that drive and that feeling that he's providing and protecting. So when the lady ends up earning more, it kind of subtly removes his ability to provide now, because it's like, okay, so now I've lost that side of me, so I'm not necessarily the provider anymore. So what am I? Then I asked him a question. I asked him an interesting question, and it's going to be an unpopular thing to say. But then he said, most of the counselings that he did when it comes down to fighting about money is that he found that when women get funds, they more often want to get clothes, they want to get food, they want to get stuff with that funds. When men get funds, they more often thinking, okay, how are we gonna make sure the house is paid? How are we gonna make sure? And it's again the odd time where what's the thing that it says the bro, I get a complete blank now.
Sure. The odd time,
like the exception doesn't debunk the rule. So there will be times where the woman does want to, like, make sure that the house is paid.
Bro, it's just
sure
the percentages.
But the percentages are higher.
What you're trying to say is we're not negating that there are
that
women
there will be, yes, exactly,
that do make sure those things are also sorted.
But the higher percentages that the man feels like, hey, I must make sure my house is paid. Hey, I must make sure there's petrol in the cars. Hey, I must make sure if the car breaks, I must wash the car. I must clean the car. I must fix the car. If a part is broken, I must go and replace that part. That is the man's contribution that is bringing to the deal. So when it turns out that the woman usually earns more than the man, then the man sometimes feels like, you're now taking the part that I'm bringing to the table, you're kind of taking it away from me. And more often than not, the woman, if they're not careful, they can use that against the man. Yeah. And if he doesn't have an income and if he's not working, he can very quickly fall into that space of like, I'm useless here, I'm not contributing.
What the reality of the matter is, we as women are innately manipulative. That is something we're born with, right? And if it goes unchecked, it can become a very big problem in the marriage. So what happens is, if a woman now earns more, and depending on what the conversation is between husband and man, you break that man. You break his confidence. You break how he sees himself as to what my purpose is. And that's a lot what the feminist movement has been, I feel that the feminist movement has been running on, in terms of, I can do all bad by myself, I pay my bills, I work and whatnot. And there's nothing wrong with a strong woman or a woman who is climbing the corporate ladder and earning more money. There's nothing wrong with it. The challenge comes in the marriage when you don't know or you've misplaced the use of a man. And that's what happens there. You've misplaced the use of the man because you only see him as a provider. It's one of his attributes. It's one of the things that he needs to bring to the table, yes, but it doesn't define who he is as a man and what his purpose is in the marriage. So in my marriage, yes, my husband is the leader of my house, because I understand that I have two girls and they need to understand the balance of the role of the female role and the male role in their lives, so that they can have a balanced childhood going into adulthood to be a functional adult. But who is Xavier Hendricks in my life, in this marriage? For me, he as much as he is the leader, he's also my spiritual partner. He's my friend. So there's guidance for the two of us. So where he has, where there's an area of not lack, but an area that he can't fill, I must fill it. Hence, help meet. So we must be at a point where we can help each other build. So he doesn't. His only purpose is not just to provide. Yeah. It's for guidance. It's multifaceted. Exactly. So it's when the role of a man is misplaced, the use of a man is misplaced. That's when you get, now this woman says, yeah, maar jy's ook mos useless. You don't even, why must I always get stuff for the kids? Why must I always go buy the groceries or pay the bills? When are you going to do something? Yeah, how about Anka, I'm getting up, I'm going to work. Now he becomes apologetic about it. Yeah,
and especially if he's earning less, because now he's like, I can't really contribute towards this thing. Go for it.
So, obviously, as a student, are we saying that, and getting back to the finance and so forth, are we saying even if or when the woman is earning more, the guy still has the last say when it comes to money?
Yes. Because he's the head.
It's technically the last say. But look, it has to be a conversation held between the two.
No, I'm asking that because you used to.
I said we must do this and all, because that's where the feminist. That's where the feminist takes it, bro. It's like, this is my money.
But I was
you
just
want to
about
tell
to
me
say,
what to do with my money?
We're not advocating dictatorship. That's not what we're advocating.
I'm just saying. Sorry, I'm just saying. Based on the fact that you said, woman. There's a large percentage that when they get funds, it's about let's go get some clothes. It's
Not always. High shame.
Yeah.
Not always,
not
but a large percentage.
I'm just advocating for the rest of us.
But I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you can still say, nah, X, Y, and Z needs to be sorted out. And she can't now come and say, nah, but I worked 30 days for this funds.
Well, then he can also say, I worked 30 days for those funds. So what happens is, there's different ways to deal with when it comes to finances. And finances is a very big thing in a marriage. It can make or break a marriage.
What if a guy's not working at that specific... Because life happens.
So
life happens.
This is interesting. This is interesting because we've had this conversation before. So how a woman is wired is that, yes, a man should provide. Now he's not working. What are you doing with your time? Are you hustling? What are you doing? Are you creating something that says, okay, fine, I made 200 rand today, at least I can buy bread, milk and whatever at home? Are you hustling? Are you bringing something to the table? It doesn't have to be 200,000 rand. But in a woman's mind is that she wants
Just
to
the
see
drive.
there's drive.
Yeah.
As opposed to you just being a house husband and being at home. Well, I know that a house
But house,
husband
yeah,
is
just
a
about to
thing,
say
is a
now,
thing.
house
It's a
husbands
thing.
can also, yeah.
But I'm old school like that. Me, I don't want a house husband.
And I think here's the thing, Jay. Because we know a lot of successful women, and here's the thing that I want to tell all feminists and people who get tied up about this thing: a strong man is not intimidated by your success. I can tell you that with a straight face. If Anka must earn more than me, I'm not intimidated by her money. I can stand on my own feet. A strong man isn't intimidated. He doesn't like, now you
So-
want to tell me.
so-
I'm not intimidated by your success.
He's not intimidated. But where the trouble comes in, let's say I make more money than he does now. Now I come home and I tell him, how about I paid for this? And yeah, you can't even pay for that. Now we're creating something that there wasn't.
And in general, women have a strong proclivity to be the offenders when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think
you won't necessarily find the gent coming in like, I paid us.
Not negating
A gent more wants to say, hi baby, yeah, go buy your mama a house. Because that's what makes you feel like I'm providing you, man. Yeah, I want to be
Given also...
the person to give you the money. Like I want to feel like
Yeah,
I'm
be
doing
like that.
something
Of course,
dope.
if you ask a woman like, yo, what do you want from a gent? That's what they
Yeah, I want
definitely
him
gonna say.
to provide.
If you ask a gent, what do you want from a woman? He's not gonna be like, nah,
I need funds.
I want my woman to hold me down. I need
Nah,
my woman
bro.
to protect me, to security vibes. But what's happening, Juan Hong? Good morning. Great show as always. And then Keegan says, God is incredible with balance. Says biblical portrait of marriage by Bruce Wilkinson is a very great foundation. And then Nikki goes on to say, Briesha was speaking about the headache. Then she goes on to say, I love.
Why did Sheldon remove his comments now?
I don't know, bro.
I saw it earlier. He said exactly that.
Facts, I don't know, like, what's going on, bro. Load
Fine,
shedding
fine,
or
fine.
something. But yeah, Nikki's on some like, I love being loved by my husband no matter what. He's the head of our household, so our kids learn how to respect him based on how they see me respect him.
And that's a fact.
Yeah, that is a fact.
And
So-
vice
That's a
versa.
major fact.
And vice versa. How he loves her, the kids then also learn from that. There's always two entities, not negating one or the other.
Now, fact, she goes on to say that respect definitely remains the same. As the Bible states, a woman is given to a man as a helper. So even in his darker days, she needs to be the light.
So I wanted to comment on that and just now, and something that's very important, that in the times we're living in, there's a lot going on. And like you said, that there are men that don't have work or whatever. But if he doesn't have it, then I should have it. If I don't have it, then he should have it. It should be a complementing thing.
Exactly.
So what happens in the house is that there's always a culmination of bills, the rent or the bond or water and electricity. There's the kids' school fees, there's food. And yes, there's the expenses of clothing and all of that. So how are you splitting these expenses? You know, a lot of people, what some people do, they have a joint account. Everything goes into that account, pay all the bills, and then either split the money afterwards so that, you know, that each one has a bit of money to say, okay, you can do this, it's your spending if you want to go buy yourself clothes or whatever. Other people say, okay, fine, we'll just split the bills. I'll cover these bills, you cover these bills, and we'll see how we get through the month, you know, like, okay, you buy a bit of groceries, whatever. But I think it's something that is very important that needs to be discussed. And it should be discussed before marriage so that when you go into this marriage, you know how to expect. So what to expect. It's not just an expectation. I know he's the man, he must pay for it. You know, now it becomes an ugly conversation afterwards. And then you don't understand why, how have we snapped out of honeymoon stage so quickly.
Okay, let's continue with the comments.
Nah, big facts. And then Nikki goes on to say, regardless of who earns more, men remain the head of the house. There's no two ways about it. A man who at least tries to provide for his family should be honored. Then Keegan goes on to say, people have strengths and weaknesses. Whoever is better with the finances should handle that. Whoever is better with disciplining the kids, then that person should handle that, of course. And then he goes on to say we should rely on each other's strengths.
That's true.
Which is true. So if your wife is in accounting and she knows how to kind of make things balance and what, then that's a strength you should lean on. It's not like I'm the man and now you're going to do stupid things with the money. So there's one particular situation that I had when I had this conversation with Pastor Neil, and I found it true in my situation also, where so Pastor Neil says where the husband would say that, and I've done this before. I'm like, nah, there's no money, because even if I have like 1,000 rand still in the account, because in my mind, I'm trying to see, hey, bruh,
The
I
month
need to
is still a
still,
bit long.
there's
Yeah.
still a couple of
Facts,
days.
bro.
This grand needs to go to the end of this month now, bruh. So then when Anka says, we need to still do this and this and this, I'm like, I don't have money. Because in my mind, I'm trying to get the big things, petrol, bread, milk, like just the survival things, bro. I'm trying to see how I can stretch this out. So he says that this one couple that he was like kind of busy counseling, where he's like, the lady was like, yeah, but there's still money left. Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? And a lot of times also which both parties do, but more so the perpetrator would be on the lady's side, is like kind of like the friends are doing this, or other families are doing this, or other people are doing this. So why can't we also go? Why can't we also this? And the gent's like, yeah, me, I'm not worried about what they're doing. I must make sure things are all right here by me.
Exactly.
Yeah, women tend to get more emotionally inclined with stuff like that, because especially on social media, like it's portrayed, the friend is going, and some of the times it's old pictures that was taken that time.
Yeah, look, he took his wife to here and then there, and then now you're putting pressure on your husband to also take you there, and so more likely than not, the woman would be the one
Facts,
putting
bro.
that kind of pressure.
In general, vibes are like luxury. To
And
guys, bro.
the reason we know that's a fact also, and also the reason we know that is just undisputed, is that in the marketing world, they know that if we market towards the woman, they more likely to come in. Like if we're standing somewhere and somebody asks me, I can plain down with a straight face, but I don't have money, sharp. Even if I have money in my pocket, Anka, we kind of feel bad for the guy and like, hey, let's not support the guy, let's not just give him, something or whatever, just so it doesn't look like we don't care. And I would be straight, I don't have money, bro. and so more likely the woman would see it from a more emotional side, and the gent would see it more from a, hey, bro, I need this money, I need to make sure this is covered. So he was telling me about this one situation that he was counseling, and he was like, this gent got to a place where he would like pay the school fees ahead of time just so his wife doesn't ask for money, because he would be like, yo, next month this thing is gonna catch up to us, next month this thing gonna pile up, so let me rather pay this thing ahead, because every time there's like an extra 3 grand in the account, it turns into an argument, and we still need to pay things, and so the way men and women approach a situation is different. And this fallacy that we're trying to portray in mainstream media, that men and women are the same. Men and women are not the same. They are not the same. They have different strengths, different weaknesses. They bring different things to the table.
They speak different languages.
They're not the same, bro.
Well,
not at all the
I
same.
really don't want to be the same as Xavier. I think our marriage would be very boring. I don't think he wants to be the same. Like, what, we're just dating ourselves now. Like, what's the use? The other thing is also, I think a very big thing when it comes to finance, so in other areas, could be applicable in other areas of the marriage, is entitlement. We should understand that you're not entitled to what the other person is working for, but you guys need to work together. So if there's an extra 3 grand in the account, why are we feeling entitled to that? We must spend it now.
Yeah, you have 3,000. I saw your thing. The message come through on your phone. Why are you holding that? I think
there you must do some introspection. If you are the one feeling that way, you must do some introspection, because the reality of the matter is living life is difficult as it is. Expenses, petrol, all of that stuff. So if you have difficulty in communication, rather sit down and jot these things down. Put the amounts down there and budget properly. Say, okay, this is what we have. This is where we are now. So we want to go on a holiday, or we want that shoe that's 2,000 rand or whatever. How are we going to work towards it in the boundaries of where we are now? Because you can't be living a life someone else is living, because they're not paying your bills.
Small street.
So
like
here's
dope kicks for 350.
So
I want to ask a question, bro.
Okay.
Just
I have a riddle for the ladies in the chat, especially for the ladies, or even the gents. Anyone can answer, but Jay, go for it.
yeah, I want. Getting back to the, woman climbing the corporate ladder and so forth, and we spoke about this last night on the call, bro. There's that fine line, and again, bro, we all for woman empowerment. Woman, God, do your thing. Do your thing.
I think it's important.
Yeah. No, we definitely all for that.
I only have ladies in my house, bro. I have 2 girls and my wife. I'm the only gent, so I can't be looking like, bro. If my daughter comes home and she's achieving and she's doing well, that's like a badge of honor for me as a
parent.
pop.
You want your child to also be independent, but I think the fine line is teaching your children to be independent, but when they do enter into a marriage, that they understand the dynamics of the balance, so that they're still independent, so that should anything happen, that they would be able to stand on their feet, but that wouldn't interfere with the communication in their marriage. Because for us, sorry Jay, you wanted to say something?
No, go for it.
Okay, so what happened is, as much as men want to be the providers, and as much as men want to be the ones sorting things out, don't negate that men do expect the woman to help. And I think this is where a lot of miscommunication also comes into the marriages, because that men do expect women to help. However, when in reverse, a man will come home and say, yes, but I've been at work all day and I've done this and I've done that and I've done that. What have you done, right? And we need to look at what is on a woman's plate. A woman, like if there's no helper, housework is what you would have been paying someone to work. That's a whole job. Then if you have kids, you would have been sending your kids to school or daycare. That's another whole job, So men do expect women to help, but they expect women to help also in monetary value. And I think for when I came here, I didn't have a job because I wasn't a citizen yet. I was basically an alien here. And it's like, yeah, but I'm working here and we're not making it. What are you doing? What are you? And what that has done for me is I hustle things out. I've had side hustles since I think the second year of our marriage.
Yeah, but I have also pushed you to do your own
That's true.
thing. I would say, go get your things.
Yeah.
Go do your thing.
So here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. There's no problem with that, because remember, we are in a partnership here, and as much as he is the head of the house, you are the manager, which means you should also make things happen here for this organization to flow very well, right? But now there's certain things that we negate in a marriage. We negate that the everyday life. And this goes back to hanky-panky time tonight, right? It all comes full circle, because now we get up and the day gets started, right? So what a man sees as a woman's work is not really a woman's work. If we're going to be partners in the financial area, in the finances, then you need to come to the party in terms of the household, running the household, not buying things. I'm talking about the cleaning of the household. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about seeing to the kids. I'm talking about, do you get those small things, cooking, those things. If we're going to share everything, then we must help each other out. So not every one of us have strengths. Xavier hates cook. He doesn't cook. I don't know if he hates cooking. He's just never cooked. Well, hi Shame, you did cook on Saturday. It's been 8 years. But I mean, he did. No, he made mince. But it's not something he'll do. He'll be like, baby, Andrew eating now. And it's not my strength. But hi Shame, he doesn't badger me for that, because it's not my strength. But what I'm trying to say is, then they see, okay, this one's busy doing that. Let me see to this. So I think to make the communication flow, see it both ways.
I want to ask, what was your question,
bro? So based on our convo last night, bro, I just wanted to find out again as a student. Obviously, we know the world doesn't, how can I say, want to go with what we're giving them. I think the Bible also speaks about the peace that God gives, and the world doesn't, how can I say, doesn't want to accept it and so forth on, bro. So again, we all for woman empowerment, but I want to ask the question, do you think, going back to the spiritual aspect, because we see how marriages are being destructed by women earning the bigger check, do you think that it's Satan's plan to allow a woman to climb that corporate ladder?
I don't think it's Satan's
plan
to...
woman empowerment, we're there for it.
I wouldn't say
but
it's
based
Satan's plan
on
to allow...
the final destruction.
However, I do think it's Satan's plan to diminish or break down the role of a man. His plan is... And his
that's
agenda...
a tool.
Yeah, his agenda
That is one of the tools, yeah.
His agenda is
To
so
mess up the
blatant
home, yeah.
to mess up the home and to discredit the man. Anything is to discredit the man. I mean, absent fathers. Now we're going into that I can also be a woman. Or
So and so
female
this is
kind
the
of
question I asked Anka yesterday. Why is it, especially in the LGBT community, why is it that the men must go and castrate themselves, but the woman in the LGBT community doesn't remove
Don't
their
remove
wombs?
the wombs. Well,
So
that
that's
could-
again an attack towards men. It's
but,
like, yo,
yeah, but that can be argued because a womb is not protruding.
yeah, but if a man doesn't have a womb,
I get what you're
if
saying.
you're saying that the woman's becoming a man, then go and remove your womb
Yeah,
and
but
then
it's
cut
not-
off. And if that's natural and we're all gonna do it, then the whole world as we know it ends on this generation. Then just done, because now there's no
But that's the
Yeah.
agenda.
next. There's no next because you
There's
don't
no-
have a penis
Yeah.
to impregnate anyone. So how's there next?
But that's the agenda.
They cut off your testes. How are you gonna produce?
I mean,
Semen, sperm.
what was the first thing? The first thing God commanded, He said, "Go out, go forth, and multiply." That's what He said.
Facts.
So yes, in the long run, yeah, it's very strategic and it's what mainstream does is they very strategic in how they hide it. So they come in under the guise or the pretense of no, it's woman empowerment, no, it's this, no, it's that, but the underlying issue is actually to mess up the family nucleus.
When things like that start, I think it genuinely starts from a point to really see or get women's voices to be heard. However, anything in life or any agenda that's being thrown out there or started and perpetuated throughout time, it then loses its balance. So yes, feminist rights, the feminist movement started with small things like women being oppressed in the home, they have no say. I think especially in countries where women are really, really being oppressed and they're just seen as nothing. It started
But that's
off-
extreme oppression.
yeah. But what I'm saying, it started
The
off on
women in
that
the
level.
West don't experience that
No, they
oppression.
don't.
Not at
But-
all.
but the
They're
West-
advocating for freedom. They're not being oppressed. They don't
Yeah.
have to wear kurtas and
But anything in the
cover their
West,
faces and things.
anything, I think people,
So what they're
all the
advocating for?
opinions coming from the West is just so entitled and it's just not balanced. It's not, the scales just top one
If that was
side.
a Saudi woman fighting for the right to be able to show her face or whatever the case might be, then maybe you could say, okay, at least I
So-
guess
so
I can
let's-
understand why she's trying to be free.
Let's look at
and
the
that-
South Africans movement. I mean, we have Women's Month here, right? It took me a while to understand that because we don't have that in Namibia. We don't have Women's Month, right? And then there's the woman, the woman who basically were the fourth runners for that was it Rahima Musa and
Yeah, the
a
ladies
few-
that marched and all that,
marched,
yeah.
right? So they were women of color and they were women. So they were oppressed because they were of color. And then what was more on top of that was the fact that they were women. So men of color could have still maybe became a doctor or could have still maybe become something else.
Also
other than a
under
teacher.
oppression, though.
Also under oppression, but they still had a young
They had
chance.
a little bit more of an
They had a young
opportunity.
chance. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's where that women's month was birthed. And that's where the women's movement was birthed here in South Africa. But from a Western perspective, that was really, really, now it's my body, my choice, and it's advocating for murder and all these other stuff, because that's what abortion is. It's murder.
It's murder, and even what recently happened is that that piece of Dr. Phil came out also, where the woman actually confronted Dr. Phil in such a way that he couldn't rebut her, and then he started saying she's cutting him off, and he started getting angry because he couldn't rebut it. He couldn't say no, it's not true. What you're saying is not true. He couldn't. And so he kind of backed down. And there was something that Andrew spoke about, and he said it. And when I first heard it, I was like, yo, bro, you can't say that. Where he said that if I have to take responsibility, then I need to have a degree of authority. And in the beginning, I was like, he said it very harshly, and I don't think that was the words he used, but he said it very like I am the boss here kind of authority. But then when I broke it down and I saw where it was coming from, it's again biblical. He's saying that if I'm responsible for my home, then I need to have authority over my home, which means my children can't come and go as they please. My wife can't go and do whatever she feels like doing, go wherever she without not asking my permission, but saying that, hey, baby, listen, I'm doing this and this and this and blah, blah, and us having a conversation. So there's a degree of authority there, and that goes back to the man being the head of the home because he's taking responsibility of the home. But if we get in these guys where they don't want to take any kind of responsibility or they don't want to bring anything to the table, then you are relinquishing your own kind of ability to call upon that authority, because now the woman's going to look at you like, but you're not doing anything. How must I now respect you? You then not, and again, love and respect goes back full cycle. How must I respect you? They're not doing anything. How must I show you this honor that you're asking for, but you're sitting and playing games, or you're waking up late, or you're not going to work, or you're not bringing your part to the table? So then that's on the gents thing.
I think that's very important to know that yes, in order to have responsibility, you should have some kind of authority over the house and all of that. But there's boundaries in a marriage. There's certain things, I think because we were raised in similar setups, there were certain things that we just didn't speak about. I don't go out late at night and come home 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. What am I as a married woman with children doing outside? Those are things we didn't have to speak about, but those are marriages. And like our marriage, but likewise, I don't expect that from you as the husband.
Exactly. I can't be out with the gents, partying, drinking, but I have children and a wife at home.
So once again, we're saying we're not advocating dictatorship. We're advocating a partnership, understanding each other's roles in the house. So yes, Xavier has the final say towards something, but his responsibility is also to bring that to the plate.
I want to ask the question to the ladies quick. Jay, it looked like you wanted to say something.
No, go ahead, bro.
There's a little thing that Dr. Emerson speaks about in the book, and he mentions it in the, if you go and watch his, if you just go onto YouTube and type in Love and Respect after the show, not now, Love and Respect, you'll see a couple of his lectures coming up. And he says something like this, and it's more of the fun side. Anka and I turned it into an argument last night, but it was more fun.
Why, thank you, Xavier.
When a wife says, I have nothing to wear, she means she has no new clothing. When the husband says, I have nothing to wear, it means he has no clean clothing. So that's the question for the ladies. What do you think? Do you think that's true? I found it true in my house. Anka thinks it's not true.
I don't think it's true in my house.
It's true.
Not in my house.
If I say I don't have clothes, it's because I'm not finding what I'm looking for there. It's like, where's my white t-shirt? I'm looking for this white t-shirt.
Again, it's percentage.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not finding what I want to wear now. So it's like, is it in the wash? Yeah. Is it still needs to be ironed? Is it where is it?
And that's why I'm saying to him that it's not applicable in our house. Like, I've got a phobia.
Can be crazy. Full wardrobe.
True, I'm not.
And then still want more clothes.
I'm not. And
James can literally wear the same top.
I'm not negating. I'm not negating my fellow female comrades' flaws. I'm not negating that. I'm just saying it's not entirely true for our house, the Hendricks house.
But in general, it is.
It could be I don't know. Could be. I mean, my father was the type of person that you would find him in the shops every week. He believed every single Sunday must be something new. He always didn't have anything to wear. So, I think it's different for everyone. My father, every single Sunday had a new outfit. Those who knew my father, he didn't wear an outfit for very long.
Jay, let's check what's going on in the comments before we call it a day.
Yeah, it's just that last comment of Nikki saying we can't live champagne lives on beer budgets.
And that's the other thing. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, again, just to kind of give it around it all off, we said a bunch of things, and we're kind of and the way we said it, like if you go watch Jordan Peterson, he says it very blatantly. He says it to the point where the feminists get angry with him, where they protest his speeches and things. If you go listen to Andrew Tate also, he says it in like very, very blatant ways. And if you go watch I watched his interview where he did with Valuetainment with Patrick Bet-David, and then he says like, a lot of times I say what I say the way I say it to invoke a response. I could say it a little bit nicer, and I can say it like the way the scientists say that empirical evidence shows that men are more likely to da-da-da. Yeah, but then I just come out and say men are stronger than women, which is a fact, but he says it like that to tick off the feminists on purpose, On purpose, but the fact of the matter, when you get down to it, it can't be denied. It's like, and even when we had the female bodybuilder on our show, I asked her the question. I said, if a man has to go up against, she says, I can't go up against the men. Men
but
are naturally stronger than. That's why you have different classes and different sports and different things, because it's just how God made it, that men do have the edge on certain things, and in the same way, women also have the edge on other things that gents can't do. And that's why the whole point of love and respect must
Each one in
complement
their
each
own
other.
right has their own strengths, and I think it's because everyone wants to dabble in that one's strength, or I want that. Find who you are and flourish in your strength, because you have your own purpose, and especially in the household setup. Yes, people's dynamics in the marriages are different, but find yours. But understand that the man is the head of the home, and that the woman is, like to say, the neck.
Yeah, the neck that moves the head. But here's the thing: love and respect is the thing.
Nicely said.
Men do want to feel respected, and women do want to feel loved, and that's just how it is. I'm gonna round off by giving you some insight. No, some juicy gossip for those who like gossip. Make it a little bit juicy for you, with me and Anka. And I know you people like stories. But here's the thing. So we had an argument not so long ago, and the argument got really
Heated.
way it shouldn't have gone. And I was now just irritated. I was like, nah, this can't carry on like this. So we set up an appointment with Pastor Neil. You saw us there. You walked past and you saw us there. And I said to Pastor Neil, nah, this is our counselor, right? So this is our counselor. And here's the thing, guys. If you're going through something, go and speak to the counselor. Don't wait until now you're talking about divorcing each other and that. If you see the thing is starting to get out of hand, go find
Love each other enough to want to sort it
go
out.
find a middle ground quick and sort it out. The one who wants divorce, you want to leave anyway. You're looking for a reason to go you out. So because either you're trolling, you're texting your old girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever the case might be, and now you're trying to find
for him or that small.
bruh, you're trying
and
to
then-
find a reason to dodge
But
now.
also with that,
See.
I've said, and I've said this in previous shows, that your marriage is the same like you just living. Like you go to a doctor's appointment every 6 months for a checkup. If you feel like you're not doing so, like go for a checkup, go to a counselor and do that things to keep your marriage healthy.
Okay, there's a question that I'm gonna answer, right? So the story that I'm gonna tell you is literally to answer that question, right? So we get to Pastor Neil, and I mean, bruh, and Dr. Emerson speaks about it in the book as well. We arguing about something, né? And 5 minutes into the argument, you both recognize we're now not arguing about my shoes on the floor anymore. We're not arguing about the bath wasn't washed. We're not arguing about the potato wasn't cooked the way I wanted it. There wasn't enough salt. No, bro. The argument is long ago gone from that.
Yeah.
It's now something that's more deeper, that has nothing to do with salt in the food or shoes on the floor. It has something to do with completely something else. So we're there by Pastor Neil and we go in and I'm telling my side of the story. I'm like, yo, da-da-da-da-da-da. After I'm done explaining my story, he says, okay, so what are you saying? I'm saying basically what I'm saying is that I feel disrespected. After I told him a whole story about a whole hour about this, that, and that, I say, hey, Pastor Nilo, basically what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm feeling disrespected. Anka, tell your side of the story. Yeah, he does this and that. Okay, basically what I'm saying is that he doesn't show me love. Oh, that's interesting. We basically got back here. And Dr. Emerson in his talks literally say the same thing. He says, 5 minutes into the conversation, you'll realize we're not fighting about the shoes on the floor or the bath that wasn't washed or the salt in the food or whatever. We actually, if you go a little bit deeper, this is what it is. And to answer your question quick before the lights go off, all that a man wants is to feel respected. And the easiest thing to make a man feel respected, ladies, is just make him feel like he's the top outie in the house. Just hype him up like, yo, baby, yo, the way you put that light bulb in now, you're high. That light bulb. Hey, then you see the man is feeling aware. I can start a light bulb. Yo, baby, thank you so much for putting petrol in the car. Yeah, baby, you see, I put full tank for you. He just wants to feel like recognized, man. He wants to feel like he's the, yo, baby, did you see? Now I put full tank in Anka's car. I'm waiting for her to say something. I'm waiting for her to say, yo, baby, I see you put full tank. Yeah, did you see? I filled your tank. Because that's it, bruh. It's like a child that just wants to be a farm, basically.
And that's the point that I was trying to make earlier. That's the language he understands. But now remember that I now also need a reply in my language. Because remember, I'm thinking, why am I saying thank you to this full tank when I'm cooking every day and I'm cleaning every day? Why am I saying... So there's a reciprocation in order to understand, not negating that is his need. Not negating that.
And that's literally all it is. That is literally all. There's no deep science about it. There's nothing like deep about it. And Dr. Emerson calls it the mad cycle, right? I'll show him now. I don't say thank you for the thank. Now I'm like, whoa, she's most disrespectful. Now I'll show her I don't say thank you for the food. And now we go into this.
It becomes a petty cycle.
Now you go into this loop. I think they call it a sound loop or something. You go into this petty loop that can end in divorce. That can end in now the children are now in a broken home. The whole thing is messed up. And all that could have solved the whole problem is just saying,
and it's trivial elements.
Baby, thank you for this and this. Ash, baby, thank you for the food. I see that you does. That's literally all it could have taken to solve it, bro. Literally all. But now we go into the cycle. I will spite you. You will spite me. And when we came to the conclusion that we're not versing each other. We're on the same team versing the obstacle. Let's try and find out how can we be on the same team. If there's money issues, let's see how we can hustle. If there's something going on, let's see how you and I can try and make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's literally all it is. Guys, they say that the lights are gonna go off now again at 10:30. So yeah. If it cuts out, it cuts out. But let's do the closing comments quick. And then if it cuts out before, then just know it's because the lights went off. But closing remarks from you.
I just want to say that marriage is great, guys. Just find each other's love languages that you can communicate effectively.
Now that's dope. I think for me, once again, it's always an honor and a privilege to be under such great leadership, and I can't wait for these beautiful challenges that lies ahead to make it work.
But and again, for everyone in my closing remark, I think this if whatever do this. Go into your marriage today, this afternoon, and look at the thing that you're actually arguing about. And then if it doesn't boil down to you not feeling respected and she's not feeling loved, then all of this is just nonsense that we're talking. But I'm willing to bet money that over 90% of the time, not all the time, there might be other issues, but over 90% of the time, it's most probably going to boil down to I'm not feeling respected and you're not feeling loved. That's most likely what it's going to boil down to.
One last comment from Nikki says, it's true because even when my husband pours me a glass of Coke, I say, baby, no one can pour you a glass of Coke.
Come on now.
Like you do.
And then he says,
hey! Taste it. It tastes a lot better.
When you pour it. And then the husband is like, yeah, you see me, I know how to pour Coke. That's all, bruh. That's literally all. That's like, men are like big children, bro. That's literally all it is. And that's why they say it's not that you stop playing with it's not that you playing with toys, it's that your toys become more expensive. Because I can spend, bro, 2-3 hours washing my car and putting the top up and down and then taking the tires off. It's like fun for me. That's why they say men don't, it's not that they stop playing with toys, it's that the toys become big and expensive, and that's literally all it is. And that's all that man requires. That man is actually quite simple. Really, really quite simple. And then he can move mountains. Yes, he'll pay the bills for you. He'll protect you. Just see, bro, he'll do everything he can do.
Too. We just want to be loved.
Exactly.
Just saying.
No, definitely. That's the whole thing.
It's just woman-ish. Complicated.
No, we just speak different
language.
Love.
No, we got love.
And he said that.
I think women might be more complicated.
No,
than Jesus.
but that's what he says when he does his on YouTube. What he says is that it's different. That doesn't make it wrong. My opinion is different, or the way that I see it is different. That doesn't mean that it's wrong.
But did you hear also what he says there? He's like, sometimes there's the argument and a gent genuinely doesn't understand. Now, what is going on?
That's what I'm trying to say. Is because we view things differently.
And it genuinely does. Yeah.
So for men are easy because you understand men because you are a man. The same as us as women. We understand women because we are women.
Exactly.
So it's like,
and then gents are like, why are you carrying on like this? What did I now do? And then for women, it's like, no, you did this and this.
And we think like you can't think for yourself. And men are like, but what do you mean?
I didn't do anything wrong. Exactly. And so men and women are different.
And gents are quicker to apologize.
Yeah, more likely.
I don't agree
more
with
more
it.
likely.
No,
and they get upset Like, what?
not
You want me to
true.
fight?
Women can say sorry
They
too.
want you to
Nah,
fight
bruh,
back.
woman can't
We're
say
like,
so.
okay, baby.
Okay,
aight,
my
that's
wife
cool.
doesn't like saying sorry, bro. That I know for sure.
Aye, woman.
And
yo,
a lot
they
of
get
women that
upset
I
for you
know,
for
bruh,
apologizing.
They don't like saying. They don't like.
They
saying
want to
sorry.
fight.
Yo,
The gent is
so
more like-
what you brought me on the show to just call me out?
The
Was that what this
the
was?
gents are more like, okay, baby, sorry. And
Aye.
even the other day, speaking to a bro of mine, and he was like, I don't like saying sorry. I'm like, my bro, the quickest way to squash something, just say sorry and you're out.
Just the.
Then we get
whole
nada.
Then you're out,
situation.
bro.
How can you end the conversation before it even started? Give it chance to breathe. We want to
But
talk
that's what
about
I'm saying.
it.
No, not even talk about it. Let's argue about it, woman. Like,
It's not an argument. It's just passionately speaking about the topic.
And gents are like, just say sorry, bro. Then you leave it and then you nah. So that's our story. And again, I'm gonna say men and women are different. They're not the same. They see the world differently. And Dr. Emerson says that women see through pink glasses, men see through red glasses. No, to blue glasses. And he says when you put the two colors together, it's the color of royalty, purple. And then when you actually try to make it work, it works better as opposed to fighting each other. Yeah, you do this. Yeah, you do that. We can fight all day long. We can find differences and fight about it, but that's not really going to help anyone. So the better thing to do is rather to see, okay, right, you see this way, I see that way. How can we solve this thing? And then you get a better marriage. Your better marriage makes your better children. Your children achieve better at school because they're in a more stable environment. And because your children are in a more stable environment and they see the feminine imperative and the masculine imperative as they come together, that child is in a healthier environment and that child can flourish in that environment, and then that child will have a healthy environment, which makes your home a better society, which makes it a better country, which makes it a better world. And then you don't have to have the high suicide rates, you don't have to have the high divorce rates, you don't have to have the high single parent rates. Just do it the way God intended, and it will cut off probably more than 70%
all
of your
these
problems.
things work together.
Even more than 80%, 90% of your problems, if you just do it right. So that's my story.
Yeah, but for now, bro, I might want to go warm my food before the lights go off. So deuces, everyone. Bless
Big
up.
facts. See you on the next one. Love you. Goodbye.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins and bless up to the world.
And then Jay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro.
Yeah.